Hi, wonderful to meet you all. So, being part of a show that has such a legacy, fan base, and following, I would love to know what drew each of you as the deciding factor to be a part of Goosebumps.
Well, I mean, for me, I never was not going to. Goosebumps, I love horror. I read them as a child, and I think that it means a lot to viewers. It has a huge fan base. It's close to people's hearts, and it's an honor to be a part of this like legacy. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Well, to be honest, I think specifically, I mean, Goosebumps, I mean, that's it's a legendary thing. I mean, of course I'd want to do that. If we're talking specifically about the character of Devin, I think there was a sensitivity and a vulnerability to Devin. And I think we find him in a position where he hasn't found his feet. And there's a kind of an up in the airedness to that character that I connected to, and then I felt I could say something with. So to be honest, that's probably what drew me most to it.
For me, I've just always been a fan of action, horror, comedy, and I've never really been able to do it. So I was just really excited. And then, of course, to know how loved this series is, this book series is. When I was first sent the script, I was asking, some friends and family or whatever, hey, what do you get? Have you heard of Goose? Everyone,
Yeah.
every person was like, oh my God, you have to do it. So that was a nice little push.
Thank you so
Next,
much.
next up,
So, Goosebumps growing up for me was like a huge thing. The books and then the shows and the series, and I loved the first series. So, I do have to ask, were you guys huge fans of Goosebumps, and what was it like? What was the deciding factor to be a part of this show for you both?
I grew up reading Goosebumps. When I was a kid, I was a big fan of the school library, and of course, they stock Goosebumps. Yeah, it made a huge impression on me. And as a big nerd, big action nerd, big superhero person, coming into this world was so cool. Walking onto set, seeing her, so cool. Seeing the car and the green screen,
Yeah.
it's like mind blowing, really.
And I have kids who I desperately wanted them to read books and enjoy books, but it was really difficult to find anything that really got them. And Goosebumps was what did it. And there's so many of them, so that was really exciting. Then and so I had that connection, and then David Schwimmer was going to be in it, and it was going to shoot in New York City. And for me, it was like, oh, this is like the dream job of all time. Then when I get there, I find out that this incredible person's playing my daughter, and we just had so much fun from top to bottom. I've never done horror before, so that was really exciting. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer.
No, I do have to ask, when you have something that has such a legacy cult fan following, how do you approach it? Because I know people will always have their thoughts on stuff like this, which I loved, but what is your like first method when approaching something like this?
I mean, I would say it's such a gift to have a fan following because they're really like we do this for the fans and the stories are written for them. And it's just such a gift, but also like as actors, we are really just tuning into the human experience. And I think it's our duty and it's our responsibility to take these stories and make them real. And we're dealing with things that are really heavy and that have a lot of meaning to people. So I take that responsibility, and I'm sure Anna does too, very seriously.
Yeah, and I think it's really fun. I think having also just us being two Latin women, being in this genre and sort of, um, you know, now we get to be a part of, I should say, because it's been a long journey, for I think Latin actors, and now like coming into it and just getting to be a part of such an iconic series just as us is really fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I kind of want to touch on the human element again. I know being a part of every show, every movie has a different experience. Did you each personally learn anything about yourselves from being part of Goosebumps?
God, yeah. Yeah, I learned how strong I can be, which I never thought I would be able to say. I mean, my character was doing things, she was dealing with prison stuff and having serious parent issues. But then also like physically dealing with a monster that is like confining, and the car, it's just a lot to put yourself in as a person, as an actor, as a woman of color, and to realize that I could do that and that I could get through that and I'd be okay at the end. And there were moments where I felt like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm built for this. But then I did it and I watched it and I was like, oh my God, I can do it. That's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
And you're amazing.
Thank you.
You're so good in it. She's really, really brilliant. I think for me, I just when you're in this kind of a thing with the green screen, I mean, this is super technical, but just having to act with really just using your imagination and what our like the showrunner and the directors were sort of telling you was happening, and sort of having to really make that believable was something I had never been challenged with before, and so that was something that was really exceptional and fun.
So I kind of want to touch on that. I'm like a huge, I love practical effects, and we've seen it with like a new Alien movie and a lot of new films and shows. But with this, I was only able to see the first episode. What I was seeing on screen, it didn't even feel like it was not practical because of the way everybody was acting. So how did you guys do that? Because it came across so realistic and I could feel the emotion from what I've seen so far. So when you're going into that, you said you've not worked with that before. How did you manage to create this for us? Because it was truly amazing.
We have a great ensemble. It's a bunch. If you're surrounded by really great, actors and other cast members, that's the first step of like of really of the help. But also the stunt people were unbelievable.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. I mean, they weren't even in the thing that they are.
Yeah.
I can't say anything. I gotta spoil it. But they were so committed and so sort of like they could be as scary at just doing and really throwing themselves literally and figuratively into it. So
Yeah.
we were lucky that
And then
way.
also with the sets.
Yeah.
The set design was incredible. Props were incredible. Makeup was incredible. We had prosthetics
Unbelievable.
that were gooey and gross. And we had pyrotechnics, which was like, what?
Yeah.
And the smoke was everywhere. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love goo. I just did a smile look for the Smile movie the other day, and I could not get off the prosthetic and the blood off my face, but everybody was, I scared myself. So my final question is, if you could describe the show in 3 words, which 3 words would you each use?
Gooey.
Ooze. Oh, frick. You already said gooey.
Well, gooey and ooze. New York. Heart.
Oh. Or what was that word I was using to describe Alex? Precocious?
Rapscallion.
Rapscallion. That's the
I
word.
love that.
Yeah.
That is so fun. Thank you so much. I've run out of time. I could be here all day. But thank you so much. I'm so excited to see the rest. And it was so wonderful meeting you both. Thank you.
Bye.
So I just have to ask, what was it like for the 3 of you being part of something that has such a huge legacy fan base and a cult following?
It was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A little
Definitely nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you want to do a good
Definitely.
job
Yeah.
with it. You want to handle it with care. And I think that we did. I think it's, came out really well.
Yeah. It's just such an honor being a part of like something so big and something that, I never thought that I would be a part of this like super cool, intricate franchise, and just the fact that Rob and Hillary were so welcoming, and I can just read the books and kind of see all the references that are in this new season is something so fun.
Yeah, it was full circle to go from reading the books as a kid to being in the series. I mean, that's crazy.
You would have never thought.
No.
I love that. I can only imagine that. Obviously, like we want to like see nostalgia. And in your opinion, how do you think this series brings back nostalgia, but also appeals to like the new generation and new viewers?
Oh, I mean, like I said, there's a bunch of references to the books, and I feel like fans of the book series are really going to enjoy that. But then it's also this new season takes its own turns and twists, and I feel like that's something fresh and new, and I feel like this new generation of Goosebumps lovers is also really going to enjoy that.
Thank you. Now, did you all watch the first season? of the show?
I did.
Yeah.
I watched
Yeah.
it multiple
Yeah.
times.
You watched it a
Okay,
couple
perfect.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got in there.
Oh, I loved it.
Mhm.
So I want to get your take on how that one ended and then coming into this one on a completely like different storyline. I personally loved it, but some fans feel like it should have been explored more, so I just wanted to get your opinion on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Goosebumps fashion, like, I feel like most of their books, or if not all, kind of end on this sort of like cliffhanger
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it really works. And, you know, the series now being anthology, we get to explore a new story with a new set of characters. And to me, I kind of just see it as, you know, book one, book two. You just pick up a different chapter, but then it's also like just a bunch of different books are kind of incorporated into the season, and it's just this one big, like, amazing season, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody's been talking about David coming onto this show, and it's really huge online. What was it like working with him? Did you guys get a lot of time together? And what was that experience? I mean, obviously, growing up, I loved Friends, so seeing him in this was really exciting because this is another legacy show.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I pretty much learned English from watching Friends, so to get to actually work with him is like, it doesn't make sense at this point. Like, it's so crazy to me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm such a big Friends fan. I was saying that that I literally like it is my comfort show, and I I put it on just to go to sleep, just to hear Ross Geller's voice in my dreams. It's just so, I don't know, just the fact that like I got to work with him really closely just every single day was so surreal.
Yeah, I mean he's David Schwimmer. He swim, man. Like that's
swim.
it was crazy. I was a little bit shaky, a little bit nervous to meet him, but like his professionalism, the master class that he put on, but also just the amazing person he is. Like it was incredible being on set with him every day.
So my final question is, I feel like when you're a part of something this big and something so great, and by the way, I've only seen one episode, which I loved so far, so I'm so excited to see the rest. Did each of you learn anything about yourselves in this?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's a good question.
That is such a great question. I feel like, yeah, I mean, Frankie is just so layered, I feel. And she kind of just has this like these different sides to her, which is really interesting. And I feel like playing these different sides to her also kind of let me learn a lot about myself, and also just her growing up in Brooklyn. And I didn't grow up in Brooklyn, and I feel like, you know, we kind of got to live there for a couple months, and so I feel like she kind of taught me like the New York hustle and the lifestyle that's kind of like going on over there, which was really, really fun to like experience, because I felt like I was just like living as her every day, which I guess also made me get into character or whatever. But yeah, I guess she also she taught me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me playing CJ, CJ is a guy that's very authentic, very true to himself, and I think that that's a thing that we need more of all in life. And so it was inspiring to be able to bring him to life, because that also, you know, it validated for me, like, it's okay to be you. It's okay to be yourself, love life. And so it really was a pleasure and honor to be able to bring him to life.
Yeah, no, I think he has a moment in this season where he kind of has to look at himself and has to decide to either grow or die like you want to. And I think me as someone, like, I can see that. I think I'm always working on myself. I think we all are. I think we can always grow from something. We can always become better. And I think I kind of picked that up in myself a little bit more in this show.
Thank you for each sharing that. It was really interesting to know, and I'm really excited for everybody to see this. What I've seen so far really is amazing, and it's like filling my little, 1994 heart. So thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.